How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? The next game for spooky season that we played was Dead Space, the original, of course, here from 2008. Now, I decided to play this by using the Xbox Series X backwards compatibility feature thing. So I popped a 360 game in, it did a download or something, and play the game. Think there's obviously some graphic updates and whatnot, but tell you what, playing the game this way, I don't feel any need to play the remake. I thought everything was great. Maybe I'll go ahead and actually play it on the 360 though and talk to you guys about it in stream, see how it holds up on that. I don't know. See the differences. The way I did it, this game does not feel like it came out 17 years ago. Almost like how I felt playing Gears of War the same way. Not going to talk a lot about the nitty gritty of the story because I felt like streaming this game, I was kind of talking to chat and not paying attention to all the cutscenes in depth when I should have, because I still have some questions, but like I said, I'm going to be doing another playthrough on my own time to get that buckled down before I do Dead Space 2, so still going to talk to you about how great of a game this was, though, really. It's one of those games that, you know, there's a few that we played this year, like Resident Evil 4 and Gears of War series, and now, honestly, with Castlevania. I love that game, even though I suck at it, but one of the games that's like, man, what was I doing not playing good games and just wasting my time on sports games and MMOs? There's going to be spoilers here, so if you haven't played this game, just turn this video off. I don't care. Go play the game. Come back when you beat it, maybe. And then if you're someone who really enjoys Dead Space and you're just here listening to me ramble for some stuff on Dead Space, just know that I literally have not done anything except played through the game one time. I don't know anything else about the world. I don't even know what the second game looks like. Nothing. So, and I'm not really going to look at any of that before I... Well, there's one thing maybe I'll watch before I play Dead Space 2, because I did see in my copy of Dead Space for the PS3, there's a prequel animated film called Dead Space Downfall, and that might be the first non-game material that I check out. I hear it's about the USG Ishimura before the game takes place, so maybe I'll look into that before I play Dead Space 2. But anyway, this is just my raw experience with the first playthrough of the game. So the game came out in 2008. I was still going through high school, and I would say if I was going to break the game down to in a simple sentence, it redefined or defined what it meant to feel alone in a video game. Even though you have some partners, you still feel like you can't trust anyone. You just feel completely and utterly alone no matter what's around you. No rescue on this ship, no hope. The cold silence of the void of space. It was developed by EA Redwood Shores, which to my knowledge later became Visceral Games. What a great job they did of not just making a horror story, but literally just immersing you right into one. The opening scene gives the main protagonist's name, Isaac Clarke, an engineering and ship systems specialist on CEC mission ER-529. Goal? Locate the mining vessel USG Ishimura, and then diagnose and repair its communications blackout. You're aboard the USG Kellyan, along with two other main characters you'll be hearing from throughout the game, those being Zach Hammond and Kendra Daniels. There's some other people there, but I don't know who they are. But things take a dramatic turn very quickly. A crash landing sees you ramrodded into the craziness happening on the said Ishimura, which, just like I said with the Gears of War review, I love how it's just, there's like, the game just starts and you're just in it right off the bat. Immediately a ton of heavy-hitting questions that you want to get answers to. It's not a build your own game or cast your own story. You're just in the full swing from the get-go. Really becoming a fan of games like that, I find. You just piece together what's going on as you play. Now, obviously, the first and foremost question is, what the hell's happening on this ship? The opening cutscene, you can hear a necromorph, but it was unknown to me at the time what it was, and anyone else playing for the first time blindly, I guess. I mean, you see the back of the cover art, but it's just like, what are these things, kind of? Who's a girl that obviously you have some ulterior motive to the main objective of the mission as well. And in my opinion, you could tell from the get-go that someone here is not to be trusted. The only question was, who was it going to be? And then in terms of the broader universe that it casts you into, there's more questions. I want to know what's going on. For instance, why are we cracking planets in the first place? I'm assuming some type of war or overconsumption has caused resource depletion since the game takes place in the year 2508. that's where I hope to find some answers in that animated short that I previously mentioned. So speaking of the USG Ishimura, it's not really just the setting of the game or a backdrop for Isaac to run around and do his thing in. It's literally, to me, kind of like one of the main characters. I mean, I would say it is the main character, Isaac in the ship. It's a massive mining ship that has pretty much everything you need to sustain life on it, from what I deciphered. And now it has become a decaying hunk of metal flying through space with necromorphs running around. Every hallway kind of that you're going down, you have no idea what's going to be around the corner. Blood smeared across walls, flickering lights. I hated when you would go into a well-lit hallway and the lights would just shut off completely and it was pitch black. Oof. And then that ever-present kind of groan and tinkering of metal under pressure. Going along with these scary hallways, when we're talking about the setting and the kind of the feel of it, is we have to bring up immediately the no HUD. That was really cool to me. And for instance, instead of doing a crosshair when you aim, when you ADS, there's just like a beam, a laser that all the guns have, so you can still aim efficiently without having anything on a HUD. The health on your back, the oxygen meter, it's just really nice to look at. And then you have like the menus and stuff, but I gotta be honest, I don't really like these kind of 3D rotate multiple level maps. So for the most part, I was just pretty much spamming the little GPS line that would come up and tell you where to go. That I really didn't bring up the menu a lot, except to sell stuff at the shop, get some more ammo. Like, I just kind of forgot it was there, honestly. I don't know if it was because I was streaming while I was playing, and it just didn't occur to me, but I literally use this very little, which kind of even, I feel like, added to the immersion of it. The way Isaac's done with his mannerisms and sounds that he makes was pretty well done too, because like I said, he's just an engineer. He's not like some big Olympian strongman or superhero. He's just a guy with a job. So when he's melee attacking or swinging things around, he's really struggling with it. You can hear him breathing heavy and just giving it all he's got. He's kind of just a badass, honestly. This guy just one of those guys who just knows gonna pull through, gonna get the job done. And it's these like realistic sounds and the overall way the ship's built, it looks like something that could really exist. It just looks kind of like the whole ship looks pretty much like a science laboratory to me. Big fan of, for instance, between the levels, how instead of just a level ending or something and, clicking next level, you just get on the tram system that you have to, it's part of the first level, you have to get the tram system back up and running. And I like how that adds to the realism. It's just like, okay, we're done in this area, get on the tram to go to the next part of the ship and do what you gotta do. Everything's just done in a smart way to make you more immersed. I guess I should also mention something that I have written down in like a little note I took, is I like how best do I explain this? There's no music playing, obviously. So it makes you use the sound in the game as kind of like a lifeline of sorts, where what's happening and what you're hearing is kind of guiding you along the way, like footsteps, pipes, the occasional shrieks from somewhere. I mean, sometimes something, nothing much can happen after some type of a sound cue, but I guess that's kind of the point, because the game trains you to fear both the silence and the noise, but it's something that you have to be paying attention to. I haven't played a lot of horror games myself, but unlike some regular games where you could literally just, kind of just zone out and just listen to the soundtrack and kind of just run willy-nilly, like this, you actually have to pay attention to all the sounds, I feel. So the story that you're piecing together and how the game's laid out is, in each level, you're kind of going to be doing some sort of, I would say, a puzzle. You, like I said, have to get the tram back up and running, have to get a satellite back up and running. It eventually, I don't know, by like mission 7 or 8, I would say it's kind of feeling a little fetch questy, the mission objectives themselves, but the story is still really good and enough to keep you going. That's how I felt with it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise, so. But the gameplay is still fun, blasting away necromorphs, and the puzzle parts they're fine. I thought The way I would describe it is I enjoyed the atmosphere of it, like the zero G zones bouncing around and everything. I liked how it looked, and it was just a cool thing. But it was kind of just like, I gotta get this done so I can get going again. I'm not saying they're bad though. It's not like it made me stop playing the game. Speaking of those necromorphs, they kind of are, one of the coolest parts of the game, obviously. And they're kind of just like twisted, reanimated corpses of human bodies. And that's what makes them so weird and so cool, is you can still kind of like see the remnants of humanity in some of them. And they're, they're distorted human flesh. And as the game tells you multiple times, you have to think differently with these guys. You don't want to go for headshots. You have to dismember them and cut off their limbs, as the game says. So something a little bit different. The mechanic adds a little bit of layer of strategy and sometimes panic. If you miss, if they're running at you and you miss their leg or whatever you're going for, well, that's a big miss now, because, you weren't shooting center mass and still hit something. You literally, if you're going for a limb, you just miss. So that mechanic itself makes it more scary. It just becomes more of a tense calculation, especially when there's multiple running at you, take the legs out on this guy quick, turn around, stop that guy before he gets to you. And there's actually some strategy that comes in with the combat and the gunplay, which is cool. Well, with all this atmosphere, beyond the monsters and the gore and the levels and the puzzles and all that going on, Dead Space also kind of delves into psychological horror. Isaac isn't just battling the external threats of necromorphs. He's also losing his grip on reality. To my knowledge, this is all because of the marker on the ship, which, like I said, not going super in the story of the game, because I don't want to get anything wrong, because I do feel like there's some parts that I have to play again. But this marker is basically kind of drives people insane, I guess, because he's seeing visions of his girlfriend Nicole, who is the one you see at the beginning of the game, who I said Isaac has ulterior motives for, and the marker kind of is towing him along with hallucinations that kind of blur the lines between, reality and imagination. Maybe this is different for other people, but I kind of figured this out, I don't know, halfway through the game, to where I was like, oh shit, like she's not there. But she's still helping us, get through the ship. So it's done really cool, where it's like, well, is she real? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't even know what's going on in this game. And we saw this with another main character, Terrence Kyne, who we actually end up assisting by getting the marker onto a shuttle before he's murdered. Spoiler, like I said, don't watch this if you haven't played the game yet. But he was seeing visions of his wife, Amelia, who's dead for years, according to one of the audio logs. And he's actually taking orders from her, I guess. So, those markers messing with everybody, pretty much. But he kind of, lets us know, the overall thing going on with all the necromorphs, where there's this... Once the planet was cracked, the hive mind began to torment the colony on the ship, and the necromorphs are actually controlled by the hive mind. Basically becomes the ultimate goal of the game, where you're going to have to battle this thing, and it's really crazy looking. It wasn't, overly difficult. It's a little hard to hit the shots as you're, being shaken around and everything, but there's a lot going on with the story. I didn't even mention, really, the Church of Unitology, which is what the scientists are a part of, which, my knowledge, is just they want, basically, to elevate humanity to this necromorph stage. I believe they want to bring this plague back to Earth and have the humans become necromorphs there. 17 years later, still a masterclass, I would say. It's a great game. Like a 9 out of 10. Almost perfect, in my opinion. Really well done. The fear isn't, cheap. It's, a really well-built universe. Great immersion. And, yeah, I just want to say the original still stands. We'll do Dead Space 2 in the future shortly. Hope you liked my quick 2 cents on some of the things in the game. Take care of yourself. Peace.